All right, y'all, come on, get in here. Let's get to talking about this East Wing of the White House and what we know, what we do know, what we don't know, and why you should be concerned or not. Let's get into it. So here's what we know as of today is that the East Wing of the White House is being completely removed, torn down, and it's going to be made way for a 90,000 square foot ballroom to the tune of $250 million of donations. We know that. So the Trump administration says the project is privately funded, necessary for modernization, and will provide the White House with a, quote, world-class space, an event space, rather, for state dinners, official receptions, and cultural events. So here's the question that I think a lot of people are concerned with. And the biggest one is, what do we lose? What do we gain? And who gets to decide? Right? So I've talked about this before, but let's put this in perspective once again. The East Wing was actually built in 1902, and it was expanded in 1942. And over the decades, it actually became the home of the First Lady and her staff and offices. The main visitor entrance to the White House was actually a part of this for tours and official functions. And offices for the White House Military Office, calligraphers, correspondents, and event coordinators were also in this wing. And it was also a central hub for public engagement, diplomacy, and ceremonial events, right? In short, it wasn't just a hallway or some kind of storage wing. It was an active living part of the people's house. Now, with this demolition that we see is fully underway, and they're actually asking people not to post about it that are employees of the federal government. Staff offices have been temporarily relocated right now to the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, and they're going to stay there while historic furnishings and artifacts have been placed in storage under the supervision of the White House Historical Association and National Park Service. So the question that keeps coming up, and one of the questions that I have is the approval question, and it's this one. Normal major changes to the White House, especially demolition of historic structures, go through a process. It goes through the National Capital Planning Commission, or the NCPC, for planning and environmental review. The other one is the Commission of Fine Arts for design and aesthetic evaluation. But this time, here's what happened. The demolition has already started before any public filings were made. The administration argues that demolition work is exempt from prior review and that only the construction phase requires approval. Okay, this sets a precedent. Of course, we know where a sitting president can actually just demolish historic federal structures without public oversight, even on land that belongs to the people. So let's talk about those terms once again. The National Capital Planning Commission, or NCPC, oversees major construction on federal property in Washington, D.C. The CFA, U.S. Commission of Fine Arts, reviews, designs the aesthetics of federal buildings. And the White House Historical Association is a nonprofit that's actually tasked with preserving the White House's historical integrity. So the case for the ballroom is this. Let's talk about the pros, because I'm hearing both sides. People are saying, oh, get over it. Every president has done that and so forth. And this, that, and the third. And, you liberals, you should not shut up. And this, oh, my goodness, the comments are just, it is so bad. When did we get here? When you liberals decided that you actually should be brainwashed by so-and-so. Brainwashed? What? Well, here we go. Here's the case for the ballroom. Let's talk about it. So even controversial projects, after I did some research, can have legitimate arguments in their favor. Supporters for the ballroom emphasize one thing: modernization. So the East Wing's infrastructure is old. We know that. A new ballroom could incorporate modern security, accessibility, and hosting capabilities for larger state events. Cool. Private funding. White House says no taxpayer dollars are going to fund construction. Donors purportedly include Palantir, Meta, Amazon, Google, and Blackstone, just to name a few. A lot of people don't want to be named. Let's talk about that. Are footing the $250 million bill. Increased hosting capability or capacity. So the White House currently struggles to host very large-scale events without outdoor tents being used. So the ballroom could hold up to 1,000 guests. Economic symbolism. Supporters argued that this signature project signals strength and ambition on the world stage in a, quote, new era for official events. The case against it is this. It's historic destruction. The East Wing is an irreplaceable piece of U.S. history, full of demolition risks, erasing more than a history of cultural, architectural, and political heritage. Lack of transparency is a big one for a lot of people, right? No full architectural plans have been made public, so nobody knows exactly what the heck is going on. It's just being said. It's just like, oh, here, this is what you're going to do. The donor list hasn't been officially released. We just know of a few names, and no NCPC or CFA filings were visible before demolition began. So taxpayer costs, there are some. So they're just hidden. Even though construction may be privately funded, taxpayers will likely cover security, operational costs, and staff relocation. Let's talk about that. Donor influence. When billion-dollar companies literally fund the construction at the warehouse, the perception of access and influence is inescapable, even if no formal agreement exists. It's kind of like quid pro quo, right? Precedent setting. Allowing this level of structural change is going to literally impact and open the door for future administrations to reshape historic properties whenever the heavens they want to. Okay? So the reason why this matters to you is this. It's about how power on one administration side has to reshape public spaces. They're now saying, first of all, it was, we're not going to touch the structure. It's going to be near it, but it won't be. And then all of a sudden you wake up one morning and you look out of your window and you hear the backing up of a truck, beep, beep, beep. And they're destroying a portion of the East Wing. And now they're saying today that they're getting rid of the entire East Wing. So it's about transparency and the fading of that. It literally weakens public trust. Again, some people are going to say, oh, well, plenty of presidents did that. They didn't destroy entire historic structures. And if history is erased here, because we're talking about artifacts, we're talking about a lot of other things, are we losing a part of our national story or not? Or do we care? That's the other thing. So it's still the people's house. It's always been called the people's house, and it remains still the people's house, even when billionaires want a corner of the dance floor. I want you all to remember that. And whether you support modernization or preservation, here's the thing. This moment is literally, I want you all to pay attention to this, a litmus test for democratic transparency. Instead of waking up and hearing the song playing in your ears, surprise, 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 it should have been a project that moved forward with open transparency to the people of these United States of America on what was happening in full view of the people, not behind a construction fence. For more news and information that you can always use, head over to brownstoneworldwide.com, Cityscape Radio, and you guessed it, Brownstone Living Magazine. We'll see you around.